Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Chant a Day. We are here on a Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Oh, my goodness. September is going to go by pretty fast, and it's going to go by um, because we have, 3 days until the new year. So 3 days until the Ethiopian New Year. I celebrate the Ethiopian New Year um, as a remembrance of our ancestors that came before us, and it's an important heritage in Ethiopia that we have as Black people. This is not somebody else's culture. This is your culture, Black people. You can be from anywhere in the US, and you're Black, you are an African. You come from these people. Whether you want to believe it or want to accept it or not, this is the reality. You share a skin color that is of melanated skin. You belong to royalty. You belong to, a heritage that is full. I mean, so full that it got marginalized, okay, and sometimes disappeared. And you have to dig in between the lies to find the truth. So when we look at Ethiopia as the cradle of civilization, it is very important that we remember our heritage as Black people, because that is kind of the only way that we're going to fulfill our purpose. Once you know from whence you've come, you're going to know where you're going. So a lot of times, and oftentimes, we don't know from whence we came. We don't know that we are royalty. And there were places like Timbuktu in Africa where children were being schooled. They were learning from little children. I'm teaching a class right now. It's called The Foundations of Early Childhood Education. And in that class, in the textbook we're using, there's no mention of Black children, just children. However, during the 1600s, during the 1700s, there were children that were enslaved in America. However, before that, in the 1500s, there were places where children in Africa were being schooled. Okay? Why? So we have left that part of the story out. Not we, but the colonializers left that story out. I am not teaching. Del Bryce, your comment and your question about why am I teaching on the weekend, I don't use the word weekend. That's a week. It's also meaning W-E-A-K. And it's not about words and rhetoric. It's about the power of the tongue of the word. I don't deal with the weekend. So I am not teaching on the weekend, okay? Nobody is even commenting on you because you're teaching. I don't need anyone to comment. This is not a channel for people to comment. You can and leave good comments and good words, but you don't have to. You can go and create your own channel, right? And you can comment on there. But it's very disrespectful to come onto someone else's channel and question them or ask them why are they doing that, or commenting, and nobody is commenting. I am not doing this channel for likes. You don't have to like it. It's good if you do, but if you don't, keep it to yourself. And I'm not doing this for subscribers, to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm not doing it for that. The purpose of this is to liberate the words of the psalm and that you can build a relationship with the higher force that is righteousness, goodness, mercy, love, and kindness. That's the relationship you're building, not getting on to a violent video game and killing people, okay? And meeting people on violent video games and getting involved with their children, because children are the ones that are playing these violent video games and adults are on the other end of it playing too. And then it's not healthy. It's not a healthy activity for children to be engaged in, even with adults. So it's better to get out and get outside, go to the park, run around like a child, and be a child. And parents are responsible. You see the boy who shot 4 people and killed them in Georgia? His parent went to prison too, because his parent was the one who got him the gun. So parents are giving children these controllers and these violent video games. They need to be held responsible too when these children are fighting in school or resorting to violence, because nobody has taught them how to deal with the adversity. They deal with it with a fight. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to get a knife. I'm going to stab you. I'm going to F you up. All this stuff. And it's ridiculous. And the way children are doing is the way adults act. So
leave us alone. And for you to get the family.
Okay, here a voicemail from an adult now with children. Okay, with children.
Leave us the fuck alone, all right? Leave us alone.
Okay, this is an adult. Instead of having a communication that is respectful, this is how an adult is popping off, right? And they're popping off in this way. And when the child pops off on them in that way or reacts, because they've learned that. They've learned violence is a learned behavior. And video games are responsible. They're part of the responsibility. And if you don't realize that there are factors in the world that impact the influence of an individual, then you just don't know. And I'm sad that you're not aware that video games, violent video games, are part of the problem, okay? What you put into your mind is part of the problem. What you put into your mouth is part about the problem. The music that you put into your mind is part about the problem. So listen to music that has a high frequency, that has lyrics that are not degrading, but that is uplifting. Listen to music like that. Listen to music that is talking about your own goodness, not, oh, I miss you, I want to love you, and you're my number one, and all this. Listen to music that is taking you higher. Because according to research, there are influences in the world that impact, that impact children's lives. Okay, these influences are at home, they're at the school, and they're in the community. Okay, what you expose your children to is what they're going to be about. Don't wait till they get big to try to school them or discipline them or train them. And, oh, they're too young to know this. No, they're not too young. Their brains are developing, and that's the opportune time to respond to them and to guide them and discipline them. Okay, so when we hear adults with language,
yeah, gonna send some emails and just continue to be petty and disrespectful.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this: leave us the fuck alone. All right, leave us alone.
So when you hear people using language like that, right? When you hear people using language like that, it speaks to their character. It speaks to their character. Okay. And it's sad, I feel, that children are in the hands of individuals like that. Children are being raised by people who are giving them guns, who are giving them a control remote on a violent video game. That's the first step now. Giving them a phone where they can have access to anything in the world they want. We're not protecting our children enough. And I'm speaking from experience because my first son passed away because I did not protect him enough. Okay. I tried in the beginning when he was young to set these examples, and people kept pulling him away from what I was teaching him. Okay. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to da 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 da. And just, this is what happens. Some researchers believe that the mother of the child is the one who is supposed to be there for that child, guiding and teaching them in the beginning. But if that mother, if that parent is not aware of the development of that child, how are they going to raise responsible children for the community if they themselves are not healed from their own childhood trauma? Okay. And the voicemail that you're hearing, it sounds very much like childhood trauma has happened to this individual, right?
I know your little petty ass gonna send some emails and just continue to be petty and disrespectful, but let me tell you this. Leave us the fuck alone, all right?
So with that, you can tell the character of that person is not, they may call Jesus, they may call God, they may call Lord, but their actions are contrary. It's a con. It's different, right? So I'm playing this because this was sent to me by someone, okay? And instead of having a communication and leaving a voicemail of communication of a mature adult, all right? And it is not a mature adult, because when you listen to the voicemail, it's not coming from a mature place, right? And when you see an adult in that way,
when you're involved, it's foul. You're foul as fuck. Move on.
Okay.
Leave us alone. And for you to get the family involved, it's foul. You're foul as fuck. Move on. Leave us the fuck to be petty and disrespectful, but let me tell you.
Okay, and then it's interesting that the person is saying petty and disrespectful when they are the ones that are being petty and disrespectful, leaving a voicemail that is petty and is disrespectful. You know, your reaction is very important. When you react to something, how you react is how you're going to result. So I read something yesterday and it says karma is, is real, and how you treat someone is how you're going to be treated, and how you react to someone is how you're going to be reacted to. So this person leaving this voicemail in this nefarious way,
petty ass gonna send some emails and just continue to be petty and disrespectful.
The reaction is going to be returned to this person.
Leave us alone. And for you to get the family involved, it's foul. You're foul as fuck. Move on.
Because I sent the voicemail to people in the family to listen, to hear this character of this individual that is not stable, that's off the kilter rocker, really. And it's dangerous because this person is a parent, and raising children with that kind of mouth makes me pause, and I send out the angel of children to protect those children in the presence of this person that left this voicemail.
Little petty ass gonna send some emails. This is Keisha. I know your little petty. This is Keisha. I know your little petty ass gonna send some. This is Keisha.
So this is the person.
This is Keisha. I know your little petty ass gonna send some emails and just continue to be petty and disrespectful. But let me tell you this: leave us the.
My emails are always professional. They're never disrespectful. I never send emails that's calling people out their name. I never send emails that is putting somebody down. I send emails, quotes from scriptures. I send emails of uplifting words. And when jealousy and envy is at play, this is what the result is. So I'm not gonna, harp on that, but I wanted to make known that it is very important that we be examples to our children. We be role models to our children, because we are creating a society of violence. We're creating a society where we have, children going into schools and with weapons and shooting other children and adults. Like, no respect for authority and no respect for themselves or for other people. So this voicemail that I've been playing speaks to that. There's no respect for the person who left the voice. This person has no respect for themselves to put themselves out in that characteristic. They have no respect for themselves, as you can hear in the voicemail.
I know your little petty ass gonna send some emails and just continue to be petty and disrespectful, but let me tell you this: leave us the fuck alone, all right? Leave us alone. And for you to put.
So using language like that, and sometimes you throw an F-bomb, right? But using language like that on a recorded voicemail speaks volumes that the person has no words. It's just an empty shell that the person is. Empty, empty, empty shell. And the only words that can be spoken is these F-bombs, right? That is it. That's it.
All right? Leave us alone. And for you to put, leave us the fuck alone. Leave us the fuck alone. All right? Leave us the fuck alone. Leave us the fuck alone.
So that piece right there, that little snippet of that voicemail, leave us the F alone, speaks volumes about that person. And it says that they have childhood trauma, that somebody in their life spoke to them this way. Somebody as a child, I'm talking about, spoke to them in that way. And I determined from listening to the voicemail that the person has no mother. Their mother is not present, because a mother's relationship with a daughter is very powerful. And when that is broken, the person can be that way, can leave voicemails in this way, in anger and hate and envy and jealousy. So with that, it's not the person, it is the other person that needs to be responsible. So when we look at the Psalm today, and that's what we're here for, but I wanted to start with that because the Psalm is 73 today, and Psalm 73 is titled that righteousness is a strength and a portion. So when you listen to a voicemail like that, there's no strength in that. There's no righteousness in that. There's no future in that. And as a daughter of righteousness, I actually am forgiving, because that is what righteousness is about. It's about forgiveness. So I forgive this person, this Keisha person. I forgive her for leaving that evil, satanic voicemail. And I send healing of Jesus and rebuke the evil within that person so that the good may rise. So I rebuke all of the evil and the cursing, the hate, the jealousy, all of that. I rebuke it in any individual, and I rebuke it to the point of looking at righteousness and handling it with righteousness. And when you look at the name of God, Lord, and Jesus, that name is righteousness. It's goodness. It's mercy. You don't have to believe in the name of Jesus or God or Lord, but you should believe in doing right. Righteousness, goodness, mercy. Someone has been merciful to you. So why don't you believe in mercy? Because you've been indoctrinated into the religiosity of, this label of God, Lord, and Jesus, when in fact behind that is love, is kindness, is honesty, it's integrity, it's compassion, it's forgiveness, it's long suffering. Okay. Give them the power. Give those attributes the power. You don't have to believe in that, but you are that. Whether you believe it or not, you woke up this rise to type that custom Dabber 360. You woke up this rise. So what do you think got you up? It was a goodness and a mercy and a righteousness that got you up. It wasn't your own body biological timer or your alarm going off. Okay. Some people don't have the opportunity to get up this rise. They're not going to get up and see a new day. You have an opportunity to, because of goodness, because of a merciful righteousness and an embodiment of all that is good in abundance, have gotten you up. So when people say they don't believe in God, they don't believe it, but then they're opening the door for someone. They're being kind to their neighbor. They're sharing with their neighbor. That's righteous. That is God. That's Lord. That's Jesus. You are embodying all of that. So when people tell me they don't believe in this, they don't believe in that, what do you believe in? Wrongness, doing wrong to people? You don't believe in being accountable and responsible? So what is it? So that's what the psalm is today. It's talking about our righteousness is our strength and our portion. That is where our strength comes. Not in these idols, not in these different, names, but in our own righteousness. Okay. And some other people may not be good. You don't worry about that. You be the example. You be the change you want to see. So when people say, oh, I don't believe other people are good, they probably aren't. However, you can be. You can be the example of what good is. How do you define that? It's an action word. It's a word that you put into the flow, right? You plant that in good soil, that seed of goodness. You plant it in yourself and watch it grow into an abundance. You'll be like, what? So, yeah, some people aren't good. The voicemail I just let you hear, this is not a good person that left me this.
But let me tell you, leave us the fuck alone, all right?
See, that's not a good person that left that voicemail, but is that going to impact me into going out there and hurting this? No, I put that person and I put them at the foot of the cross, okay, and let the blood and the fire drip on them so that they can be healed, so they can know that there's a love greater than themselves or another person out there that they want to be with. There is a greater love. We're not alone. Do you think when you are alone, you're sad, you're depressed, you want to go jump in bed with whoever is available because you don't want to be alone. Don't do that. When you are alone, that is righteousness isolating you. Okay? It's isolating you for a good work. And that good work will reap abundance. It's going to result in such an amazing abundance. I just watched a movie. It's called The Breakup. And toward the end of the movie, the guy, he's just distracted by this relationship, and his work, his brother and him, they have a boat touring company, and his work is declining because of his relationship. And what ends up happening is that he ends up staying in the office alone and getting all the work done. And when I saw that one little scene, I said, look, he's alone. That's when most breakthroughs come through. So a breakup is not a breakup, but it's a breakthrough. And you got to look at it as a breakthrough into something more than what was there before. Okay? And yes, we're going to be sad about that, but we have to let righteousness flow. Just let righteousness be. Let it be. So Psalm 73 is titled, Righteousness is thy strength and portion. And this is how I translate Psalm 73. Hold on to your seats. Truly, righteousness is good to I and I. To I and I that are pure in I and I heart. As for I and I feet had almost stumbled. I and I steps nearly slipped. For I and I was envious of the arrogant when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For the wicked have no pangs until death. The wicked's bodies are fat and sleek. The wicked are not in trouble as others are, and are not stricken like the rest of mankind. Therefore, pride is the necklace that the wicked wears. Violence covers the wicked as a garment. Remember, I said, violent video games are not good. You're going into a place that God doesn't want you to go because that's violence, right? And that's wicked. Wicked people are violent. They want to curse you out. They want to fight you physically, okay? So we see that, yes, the people hide behind religion. They hide behind the Bible. What I do is I translate the Bible into words of liberation, so you can't hide behind it. I take the labels out and take out the labels and dig for what's under there. And the Bible doesn't demand an eye for an eye. That was the former things. Those former things have passed. We are no longer doing that. And translation is not prone to error because it's translated in words of liberation. It's using words that have one word meaning. So we're not using week to represent 5 days or 7 days. We're going to use strong. We're not going to use weekend to represent the end of the strong. We're going to use strong. So it's important that translation of these words are with words that have high frequency, and that these high frequency give us a liberated uplifting. So when we look at verse number 6, pride is the necklace of the wicked, okay? Violence covers the wicked as a garment. The wicked's eyes swell out through fatness, and the wicked's hearts overflow with follies, foolishness. The wicked scoff and speak with malice. Loftily, the wicked threaten oppression. Okay? The wicked set the wicked's mouths against righteousness, and their tongue struts through the earth, cursing people out on voicemails. Okay, this is wickedness. Therefore, righteous people turn away, turn back, turn forward, right? To these ones and find no fault in these ones. And speaking, how can righteousness know? How can God know? Is there knowledge in the Most High? So this is what the wicked is talking about. They're talking about, how can God know? There's no God. I don't believe in God. I don't know that there's a righteousness. How is the Most High going to know? This is what folks who don't believe in righteousness are talking about. Turning to wickedness. So behold, these are the wicked. These are the wicked. They're always at ease. Their riches increase. They increase in riches, and they're vain. They're all in vain. I kept I and I heart clean and washed I and I hands in innocence. All day I have been stricken and rebuked every rise. When I had spoken, I will speak thus, I would have betrayed the generation of the children. Okay. However, when I thought how to know how to stand firm in righteousness, this standing firm in righteousness seemed to me a wearisome task until I went into the place of righteousness. Then I discerned the end of the wicked. So once you enter into a place of goodness, mercy, righteousness, love, and compassion, not going into a place of religiosity and dogmatic preaching and all of this oppressive religions that has happened throughout the world, when you go into a righteous place, you're going to be able to discern the end of these wickedness. And verse 18, truly, righteousness itself has set the wicked in slippery places and made them, the wicked, fall to ruin. Okay. How the wicked are destroyed in a moment, swept away utterly by terrors. As a dream when one awakes, O righteousness, when righteousness rouse righteousness itself, righteousness despise the wicked as phantoms. When I and I life was embittered, when I was pricked in the heart, like, you were betrayed and you were hurt, I was brutish and ignorant. I was as a beast toward righteousness. Nevertheless, I will keep on keeping on with righteousness. Righteousness holds I and I right righteousness. Okay. Righteousness guides I and I with the teachings of righteousness. And afterward, I and I will receive righteousness's glory. Verse 25 is a question. Whom have I in righteousness but righteousness? And there is nothing on earth that I and I desire besides righteousness. I and I flesh and I and I heart may fail. However, righteousness is I and I strength of I and I heart and I and I portion for all time to come. For behold, ones who are far from righteousness shall perish. Righteousness puts an end to everyone that is unfaithful to righteousness. This is a warning. It's about goodness and mercy and righteousness. It's not about these names that people are calling and the actions are different. You have to be about what you calling on. That's why some people don't believe in God and Lord, and they don't call that, because they have seen how it's been used as a front, okay, as a show. But behind it, people are not being long suffering. They're not being faithful. They're not being truthful. They're not being honest. They're not being kind. They're not being compassionate. They're not being merciful. They're not being these things that they're calling. So then we have confusion. Then we get into mental challenges where people are not living their truth because they're worried about other people. And then they become lost within themselves, not even able to communicate to themselves. They've stopped living. Now they become the living dead. We have zombies out here. Yes, it's real. People are alive, but they're not there. It's called lost souls. Ezekiel talks about the dry bones. So, yeah, you may be one. You may be a zombie. You may not have anything inside of you. You may be an empty shell, like the voicemail I just played of a person speaking in these ways. And when you don't have words, remember, the words of righteousness is rare. It's rare. People don't talk kindness, compassion, and mercy anymore. People aren't talking that. And when you are looking at, this is verse 27, I'm going to read the verse 27 again. For behold, people that are far from righteousness, from mercy, long suffering, goodness, grace, that's the word today we'll get to. But when people are far from that, they're going to perish. And righteousness is going to put an end to everyone that is unfaithful to righteousness. You can be unfaithful to me. You can cheat on me all day long. But once you're unfaithful to righteousness, and that causes you to cheat on me or to be dishonest, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? So verse 28, as we end the Psalm 73, for I, righteousness is good. It's good to be near righteousness. Righteous people feel good when they're near righteous. They're near that goodness. It's a joy to be good. It's a joy. And we do have multiple words, but I used one word, one sound, one power, because that's what it's about. It's about a oneness. You ever heard of one love? One love keeps you from murdering folks. One love keeps you from being jealous and envious. One love keeps you from being unkind and leaving voicemails like the one I just played. So we have to know that it's good to be near righteousness. It's good to be near kindness. Okay. And I have made that righteousness a safe place. That's the safe place. That's the safe place. And that once that I have made that my safe place, I am going to tell of all righteous works. So instead of leaving a voicemail like that, sounding like an empty shell, leave a voicemail that's talking about the works of righteousness, the goodness of the Lord, of God, of Jah, Rastafari, however you want to, that relationship is with you. That's personal. Nobody should dictate to you who you should call and what you should do. You call on the name that's been revealed to you. Okay, that's your personal business. As long as you know that goodness and mercy and love is going to win. Goodness, mercy, love, long suffering. That when people suffer long and they're still in their righteous place, get what's going to happen. Okay, they're going to be rewarded. Okay, they're going to be rewarded. So custom Dabber 360, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Right and wrong, the Jager 638, right and wrong keeps one for murder? Does righteousness not at times bring violence? Righteousness is going to set things right. And however that is going to be, it's going to be. However, righteous people are not violent. They don't murder. They will give their life for the cause, right? Because they know that once you try to save your flesh, you're going to lose it. But once you embody righteousness, you're going to live. You're going to live. You may be outside your body, but you're going to be safe. Okay? And you're going to have a sense of, this is not my fight. I'm here to do good. I'm here to give goodness. Let righteousness, let God, Lord Jesus, take care of that. Okay? Because when Pharaoh's army was drowned, okay, and the righteous people were saved, guess what happened? Righteousness had to let the wicked fall. Because good is always going to conquer evil. Righteousness is going to cover the earth as the water cover the sea. It's just going to be. So get on the righteous road. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Get on there. Selah and Selah again. That was the psalm today. I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is righteousness, what is goodness, mercy, and love. Psalm 73 kicks off book 3 of the Psalms. There's 5 books in this book of Psalms, and book number 3 begins with Psalm 73. And Psalm 73 is righteousness is a strength and a portion. Get with it, okay? Get with the righteousness. So let's look at the verse today. So the Psalm today, 73, I translate that. If you have questions about the translation, send me a message and we can chat, okay, over the phone. I just ask that you keep your words and your language respectful. So the verse today is coming from Psalms 143, verse 10. Teach I to do the will of righteousness, for righteousness is I God. And may righteousness's goodness lead I on level ground. Okay, that's what you want to be, on level ground. Any fighting or argument over there or here or there, leave it. Don't get into these arguments. Don't get into these people's business. Leave people where they are. Okay? Leave them where they are. That's where they want to be. You cannot force someone to be coming into righteousness. You can't force someone to talk to God. You can't force someone to talk to mercy and grace. You can't force people into what is innately in them. They have sunken so low, okay, that they're going to need a power to dig them back up. And that power is righteousness. Send them righteousness. Talk and commune with righteousness on people's behalf. I send a good word out there to my friend Kelvis Cook. I am asking and I lift the words up for Kelvis that he can talk to God, that he can form a relationship with righteousness, not even looking at the labels that he grew up looking at in church, God, Lord Jesus, and you don't know who they are, what they are, and how they are. Their righteousness, their mercy, love, kindness, compassion, long suffering, forgiveness is a big part of who they are, who the Most High embodies. So forgiveness, forgive yourself first, and then you can forgive your parents and your childhood. Talk to that child that you were, that 7-year-old, that 9-year-old that lost their mom, or that 5-year-old that was abused and went into foster care. Talk to that child, your childhood self, and tell your childhood self, it's okay. You survived. You survived. Now write about it. Now draw about it. Now paint about it. Now work about it. Now talk to other people about it. Get it out of your system and put it on the table. And then once it's on the table, take it and put it in the fire and burn it to ash. Your childhood determines who you are to an extent of returning to the pain and accepting what it was. And accepting that what it was is what it was. And today you are different. You have been adopted by righteousness. Righteousness took you in, gave you shelter, gave you clothes, gave you food, or like call it nourishment, and gave you a sense that you belong here. You have a purpose here. You have a space here that was created for you and you alone to grow and to give. The two words I like, grow and give. Grow and give. So that is our verse today. You from Psalm 143 verse 10. So we did the psalm today, we did the verse today, and I wanted to look at the word today, grace. Yeah, the word today is grace. And this word today, grace, I love it. This word today, grace, is part of what I talk about in terms of who is God. Who is God? Who is Lord? Who is Jesus? Who are this Trinity, right? Who is that? That is a combination, okay, of grace, mercy, compassion, long suffering, forgiveness. So grace is part of the Most High. You can call God grace. You can say, dear grace, I'm thankful. Strengthen me to be graceful as I step into myself. So you can call God grace. You can call God forgiveness, dear forgiveness. Thank you for the forgiveness that you have given to me. Give me strength to forgive myself. So you speak to God. That's how you commune with the Most High. So the word today, grace, speaks this. Through divine grace, I am abundantly blessed in every way. So through grace, that's the Most High, you have an abundance of bliss, okay? And it's not just money. People can be billionaires and inside they are empty shells because they have lost themselves within that financial or monetary space. And when we do that, we become worshiping idols. We have to worship that righteousness that's within us. It's not being selfish, it's being selfless. Because when you can see yourself, then you can clearly see someone else. But if you have not tapped into you to the point of being okay with you and being okay with being alone and knowing you're not alone because righteousness is there, you're going to be more able to sustain a relationship because you're okay with you, you know? And that is what I found in my past relationships. They've never been okay with themselves. I had to be like, look, you're beautiful, you're amazing. You know, you're an engineer, you can do blah, 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 blah. I pump and pump and pump them in and pour that in. But if you can't see that for yourself and you don't know that for yourself and you're not working on yourself, but you're hopping into bed with the next person, you're not going to find that sustaining relationship. Okay? And the word today is grace. So grace is an awareness that wherever I am, that's where the Most High is. Okay? I can be at a bar or at a restaurant having dinner with my friend. That is where the Most High is going to be, wherever I am. I could be in Oklahoma at a concert, sitting there listening to the concert, that the Most High is there. You know, I don't like going to concerts and being in crowds and stuff, but I am going to be brave and know that awareness of grace gives you that awareness that wherever you are, that's where the Most High is. So grace is a reminder to let righteousness be righteousness inside of me, inside of I. So grace assures I that I and I am never alone on I and I journey through life. That no matter what I do or fail to do, I am unconditionally loved and accepted at the level of righteousness. Grace touches every area of I and I life. In a lonely moment, grace is the overwhelming awareness that I am loved. You are loved. Grace is the surprising way through a challenge I am aware that's unsolvable. Okay, so grace is the surprising way through a challenge that you didn't think was going to be solved. And grace solves it. Okay? And that's the surprising way that grace works. It works through a challenge that you thought wasn't going to be solved. Grace is I and I fullness of I and I being, suddenly glowing with the power of divine life, even as I and I experience a health challenge. You may be experiencing a health challenge, but however, grace is your fullness of your physical being, glowing with the power of life. Of divine life, not just life, but divine life. That's why I talk about some people are empty shells, because they have no grace. They have no mercy or compassion. They just pop off with cursing. So these health challenges are going to increase when you are popping off and cursing people out, getting upset and angry, having jealousy, envy, and all this stuff going on within you. It's going to cause a health challenge. Okay? So that's just some of the many ways I experience grace. Grace need not be, nor can grace be, earned. Right? Grace is a divine gift, available at every moment. As I open I heart to divine grace, I am filled with indescribable harmony and tranquility. Powerful. So open your heart to divine grace. Find out how you can act upon those attributes, and you will be filled with an indescribable calmness, indescribable love, indescribable harmonic pattern that's going to be throughout your life as you embrace grace. That's the word today, grace. The psalm today, 73, and the word today coming from Psalm 143:10. Teach I to do the will of grace, for grace is I God, and may grace's good irids righteousness lead I on level ground. And that level ground that grace will lead you to is filled with an indescribable harmony. Selah and Selah again. I wanted to quickly look at Max Lucado for September 8th. And you're part of an eternal plan. Today is the 8th. His purpose was that through the church, all the rules. Oh, I read this yesterday. Well, I kind of jumped ahead there. Okay, so I skipped over. So the cross is still there. And I mentioned anybody who's coming at you attacking, just put them at the foot of the cross because it's still there. This is from Isaiah 26:12. Lord, I'm going to put grace in there. Grace, all I success is because of what grace have done. So give I harmony. So Max Lucado is taken from Isaiah 26 verse 12. Grace, and I call Lord grace. So grace, all I success is because of what grace have done. So give I harmony. This is powerful because I just sent a project off and it got awarded. And things are coming. I don't want to say falling, but they're coming into place. The healing oils, the natural painkiller healing oils is coming out. You guys out there are going to be the first to test these oils. And let me tell you, my son had a zit right here. He put the oil on, it's gone. I had pain. I put the oil on, it's gone. I had a scratch, put the oil on, it's gone. This oil that I have created is divine. I'm telling you, divine order. So when I read this in Isaiah 26, all the success that's coming is because of grace, is because of long suffering, is because of forgiveness. I've forgiven and let go. And the blessed part of it is that it's all because I was pushed on a journey of pain. And out of that pain came a purpose. So we're at the hour here. Let me just read it. It says, in the midst of your busyness, the cross is still there. In the midst of your emptiness, the cross is still there. The promise of righteousness and grace still stand today. You can claim harmonic pattern in the midst of a hectic life, not without sacrifice or focus. Only you can do it. I love that. Max Lucado's rocking today. That was from yesterday, September 7th, that I didn't read. I read September 8th. But anyway, in the book of Amos, we're on the book of Amos, everyone. Amos chapter 1. This is what Grace speaks. Grace is talking about not relenting, and Grace is talking about what they're doing in terms of selling the innocent for silver and the needy for a pair of sandals. So we see judgment is coming on in this book of Amos for September 8th. There is no such thing as a little sin, because there is no such person as a little God to sin against. So, in other words, there's no such thing as a little wrong. You can, or a white lie. They use white to make it pure, but there's no such thing as a little wrongness, because there is no such person as little as righteousness to sin against. When you do something wrong, you're doing it against not the person that you wronged, but this bigger, higher righteousness that you may not see, but that's there. So be kind to each other, have a blessed day, and remember, always err on the side of kindness. Always. Have a blessed day, everyone. We're going into, stay tuned for tomorrow, because tomorrow is looking at a fall in family from the book of Amos. We're also going to be looking at the verse of the day. We're looking at the word of the day. Let's see what the word of the day is going to be tomorrow. Stay tuned. And we're going to chant the psalm a day. Have a blessed day, everyone. Mwah. This has been wonderful. Remember, err on the side of kindness. Do not be an empty barrel. Be filled with the love and kindness and mercy and long suffering. You got to throw that in there. And forgiveness. Be filled with all of that. Fill yourself up. Have a blessed Sunday service. Have a blessed day, everyone.